Hello everyone, this is CY. Welcome back to my channel. Right, if you're first time joining me, right, my channel is all about having fun making coffee. Today I will be attempting to demonstrate the connection from your laptop to the M10 Pro, right, using the Bluetooth function. Right, so you can see that I have two cameras actually taking videos at the same time. One will be focusing on the M10 Pro, right? The other camera will be focusing on my laptop, right? So this is the procedure that I do, right? To make the connection between the laptop to the M10 Pro, right? So first of all, right, if you see on the screen on my laptop, right, we should have the M10 Pro operation guide, right? That's in PDF format. Right, this is actually the Artisan setting for the M10 Pro Sniper. Right, I'll be coming back to this later. Right, before anything, you should have tried to connect your laptop to your M10 Pro by the Bluetooth function. And before you do anything, you have to make sure that your automatic roasting switches is on the M10 Pro. Right, I think at the back of your M10 Pro there are three switches, right? The three switches should be all switched on to the automatic position. I think it's indicated as on and off, right? Let me check which button it is now. Right, it is now at the on position, right? Which means to say that in order for you to do auto roasting, you have to make sure that your M10 Pro is switched to the on position for all the three switches, right? So make sure that you do that first. And next, of course, is your connection to the Bluetooth, right? So what you can do is, okay, let me remove the Bluetooth first. Right, so show Bluetooth devices. Right, so you can see at the moment my Kaleido, right, which is the M10 Pro, which is already connected. So I'll remove this device first. Right, so now I'll try to add a Bluetooth device on my laptop. Right, choose a Bluetooth. Right, and you can see that Kaleido is actually appearing on the list of Bluetooth enabled devices. So make sure you choose the Kaleido. And they'll be asking for a pin. Right, the pin is actually just 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, so connect. Right, so your device is ready to go. Right, then you click done. Right, close this. Right, there's one more thing you have to know is to check to know where's your Bluetooth COM port. Right, on my laptop the COM port is actually at COM3 or COM5, and I've checked on my laptop COM5 is the working one and not COM3. So how do you check whether which COM port is actually your Bluetooth port? Right, you can go to your device manager. Right, open. Right, they will show you a list of all the devices connected. Right, you can see that there's existing port here. Just click on port. Right, you can see that standard serial over Bluetooth link. On my laptop, it shows COM3 and COM5. Right, so at the moment, I'm actually using COM5. So once you have checked that these two are shown, you'll roughly know which COM you'll be using. And before you close this window, right, you may want to check what is the baud rate for your COM before you exit this. Right, so you can go on to the property. Right, you go to port setting. You can see that my port rate is actually 9006. Right, so make sure this is the baud rate. You may want to use your camera to take a photo of this so that you will not forget. So let's click OK, cross. Okay, now you have to install the Artisan software. Right, the Artisan software is free to download. You can actually download it from the Artisan website. Right, I'm using a Windows version, so I have already downloaded the Windows version. Right, for the Mac version, because I'm not a Mac user, I'll try to get a friend who is using a MacBook to try to help me to configure and to see whether it works on the Mac. Technically, it should work on the Mac as well. So let's start the Artisan. Okay, you should see this, right? And to know whether your Artisan is working, right? Let's go to config, right? Go on to devices, right? There's a few things you have to change, right? First of all, under meter, you can see that there's a control here, right? The controller button should be off, right? You shouldn't on it, should leave it as off, right? Next, you should be choosing TC4 because the communicating hardware with your Bluetooth on your laptop is actually connected through TC4, right? And make sure all the filters is at 95%. All these values should be changed to 95%, and then you should click OK, right? And the next thing to ask for your COM port, right? You can see that my COM port is 5, but you can see the baud rate is actually wrong, right? The baud rate should be set to 9006, so I'm going to change this to 9006, and you click OK. Right, wait for a short while. Right, let's try to click on. Right, you can see that now all my thermocouple, right, digital probe is actually detecting the temperature inside the roaster. Right, so once the temperature is on here, you can see that the display of temperature, you know that your Artisan is properly connected to your M10 Pro. Right, I think it should be working the same as your M2 Pro, right? Should be the same procedure, right? Give it a try and let me know in the comment down below whether it works for your M2 Pro as well, right? But today's video is mainly for M10 Pro and Windows user, right? I'm sorry that I don't have a MacBook, right? If not, I can actually test whether the MacBook can be connected as well. Technically, it should be, so it should be able to connect. Right, so now let's test whether I can do all the control. Right, so you can see there's a drum here. Right, so by right, if I slide the slider here, my drum should start to rotate. Okay, let's set drum to 80%. Right, there's a slight delay in the transmission of data, so the drum will start to rotate in a short while. Okay, let me zoom in to bring you to see closer. Okay, now you probably can't see because the heater is not on, so you can't really see the drum rotating. So let me switch on the heater. Right, this is a slider bar which shows this percentage of heating power. So I will try to switch on the heater to maybe about 50% and see what is the temperature we will be reaching. Right, so now I have switched on the heater to 50% and drum to 80%. So in a short while, right, you should be able to see that the drum, the heating tube should be switched on shortly. Right, let's wait for a short while. Right, actually you can see here my bin temperature is already rising. Yep, I can see the drum, the heater inside is actually switched on, but because I'm switching on only at 50% power, so it's not really brightly lit up. But definitely you can see that my bin temperature and my air temperature is rising. Right, so let's wait for a while to see what is the highest temperature that the heater can reach at 50%, right? I'm not too sure whether I can switch to in terms of adjusting the temperature rather than the percentage, but because this is actually my first time actually controlling the roaster using Artisan software, so there's quite a lot of things for me to test before I actually start to use the auto roast function. So the temperature is climbing, right, as you can see on the graph here, right, as well as you can see if I zoom out, right, you can see on the built-in LCD here, right, you can see that the graph here is also rising up, right, here is rising up as well, right, and on the graph here you can see that it's rising up. You can also read the temperature here, right, it's pretty consistent. So let's wait for a while, right, to see how high the temperature can go at 50%. So it's important for me to note this down because I need to know what will be my charge temperature. At 50%, what is the highest temperature it's going to be, right? If for people who are very seasoned with Artisan, right, please help us here because I'm actually quite noob in this auto roasting using Artisan. So expert, please help us here. And if you have been using Artisan to roast coffee beans for quite a while now, right, please enlighten us and help us by telling us, is there any setting I can do so that I can actually display the slider bar in terms of the temperature of the heater rather than the percentage of the heating power, right? I think that will be more convenient, right, than just displaying the percentage of power, right? Because now I need to really experiment with the percentage so that I will know roughly what will be the temperature display here. So it seems that the temperature is still rising up. So this is at 50% heating power. Right, so guys, you have to be patient with me today, right, because I'm doing a lot of trial and error and testing, right, so that maybe when you guys do it on your own M2 or M10 Roaster Pro, right, you can actually use this video as a reference to help you to start your auto roast journey. Right, it's still going up. Now it's reaching about 150 degrees Celsius. Okay, I just clicked the drum 85% button, so you can see that the drum is starting to rotate. Right, just now when I adjust the slider bar, it didn't really actually start the drum to spin. But when I click the button here, right, it actually start the drum from spinning. So that could be some area you can explore. Right, let me bring you closer to see whether you can see the drum is actually rotating now. Right, and I think from this distance, from this camera, you can actually see a slight glow right inside the drum. Right, that shows that the heater is still heating up. Right, at the moment at 50%, I'm reaching at about 178 degrees Celsius. At the air temperature, it's already 180 and it's still going up. So that means to say that 50% of the heating power can at least reach 180 degrees Celsius. And it takes about 5 minutes, right, to gain that temperature. Apparently the temperature is still going up. So if you are charging your bins at 180 degrees, I think you have to set the heating power to be less than 50%. Right, it's still going up. Right, I'm dropping the heating power to 45%. Right, to see whether I can reduce the charge temperature, but because usually I charge the bins at 180 degrees Celsius. Right, apparently if I reduce by 5%, the temperature has stopped. It's still increasing slightly. It's still increasing. So let's try to reduce another 5%. Right, so now the heater is at 40%. Right, because it's an electric heater, so it will take a while for the effect of the heating to be shown on the graph. Interesting. Apparently the temperature is still increasing. Okay, let's reduce by another 5%. So now my heater is at 35%. Right, as you can see here. I can see the temperature dropping now. Right. So at 35% it's dropping. So let's see what is the highest temperature 35% can reach. Because I'm actually aiming to heat 180 degrees Celsius. Strange is increasing back again. So I think the temperature is hovering at around 198 degrees Celsius. Right, you can see that it's increasing slightly and dropping slightly, but it's around 198. Okay, it's dropping a bit still. Right, still dropping. 196 now. Okay, 196 still dropping. Increasing back. So I think at 35% power, I can actually achieve about close to 196 to 197 to 198 degrees Celsius. It's increasing back again. So I think I'm safe to say that the benchmark for 35% heating power should be around close to 195 to 200 degrees Celsius. Right, so let's drop another 5 to see what temperature it will take us. Right, so now I'm dropping the heating power to 30%. Right, by right, my air temperature should drop further. Right, again, this will take some time. Right, it's increasing again. That's a bit strange. Right, again, as electric heater, there will be some delay. Right, temperature is dropping again. So now it's dropping to 202. 201. Right, it continues to drop. It's increasing back. Okay, I'm not too sure because this is my first time using the Artisan software, right? For the expert out there, please help us. Is there a way I can input the target temperature I want to reach without controlling just the slider on the heating power, right? Is there a way for us to do that, right? Otherwise, this will be quite difficult for us to actually to control the charge temperature, right? You can see the temperature is still increasing even though I have reduced the heater to 30%. Right, this is quite strange. By the way, I will try to find a software that can record my screen. Right, if you have any comment or any suggestion on any software that's free and allows me to record my screen, right, please share with me so that I don't have to use a second-hand phone, right, to actually record the screen this way. So that you'll be I think if you record off the screen, it'll be much better, right? All the details will be much clearer rather than using the phone. Right, the temperature is dropping, but it is not dropping much. Right, you can see that it's fluctuating up and down. Right, just now I was able to heat about 190 plus degrees. It's weird that at 30% power, right, the temperature actually goes up further. Right, so this is a little bit unpredictable in a way, right? Because by right, if I reduce the heating power, right, I should be able to, control the temperature. Right, apparently, when I reduce it to 30%, the temperature is still increasing. Right now, it's actually hitting 210 degrees Celsius, close to, right? This is really quite weird. Okay, anyway, I'll try to figure this out right before even starting to roast on the auto roast software, right? Because I think there's a lot of things to learn on the Artisan, right? So okay, so there's another control which you can do is actually to control the exhaust fan speed, right? And this is controlled by the damper here, right? You can see there's a damper. Damper refers to the fan speed, right? Apparently, right, the damper, when you increase it, even at 40%, you can't hear any sound. Right, at around 20%, right, at 22%, I can't hear anything. So apparently it appears that the fan is only switched on at more than 20+%. Right, at 24%, it seems to switch on the fan. And by sliding the damper to increase the percentage, I can actually increase the fan speed. At around 45%, if I increase it further, right, it doesn't increase the speed any further. So it appears that the maximum right, 24, 26%, 24%, you can reduce it further. Right, you can hear, I'm not too sure whether you can hear the fan speed. At 27, I'm actually increasing quite a bit. Right, so this is another thing that's a bit fuzzy, right, which is actually the exhaust fan temperature. Right, this is a bit hard to control again. Right, it doesn't start when I goes more than 0. You only start to activate the temper, which is the exhaust fan speed, at around 24 to 25%, and it maxes out at about 44 to about 45%. Right, so if you increase, even if you increase to 100%, it doesn't increase the fan speed further. Right, so now if you look at the temperature, right, it's starting to drop back. Right, at 30% heating power, right, it is dropping back to about 194 degrees Celsius. Right, I think this should be the temperature that I'm looking for, and not the 200 plus degrees Celsius. So do note that whenever you adjust the heating power, it will take some time for the roaster to actually react to the change in temperature. Right, so now this is the correct demonstration of the temperature. Right, it should be dropping. Right, so let's see how low it can drop below the heater kicks in and start to heat again. Right now it's 190, right, it's dropping further. I think the reason why it's dropping because I on the exhaust fan. Right, let's close the exhaust fan and see what will happen. Right, you can see that the moment I decrease the exhaust fan, right, the temperature start to rise again. So that means, sorry about my information just now, it was actually wrong. Right, pardon me, because even though at heating power of 30%, right, the heating seems to be still quite high. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop by another 5%. Okay, let's drop to 20% and see what will be the highest temperature it will go. Right, this is going to be a longer video. Right, so I'm just experimenting to see what are all the percentages means in terms of temperature reading. Right, so you can see that temperature is still going up. It's now crossing 200 degrees Celsius mark. So this is the part where I find it quite puzzling, right? Why at 20% heating power, the temperature is still increasing more than what I get at maybe 40% or 45%, right? So this is something that I need to learn, right? And probably tonight I couldn't find out why this is actually acting up this way, but definitely I will try to play around with the Artisan connected to my M10 Sniper Pro, right, to find out what actually all this control means. So is there a way to set the temperature? Right, I cannot control this. Right, these two are just display. Right, this one display the heating power, the fan, the drum. Actually, this is the drum. Why is this displaying a fan here? This one should be the drum. Right, this one is displaying the ambient temperature. Right, I think probably because the prop is placed quite near, right, the drum, so the drum is actually, the ambient temperature is actually higher. Right now it's at night, so it should be around 27-28 degrees Celsius. Definitely not heating up at 42.2. Right, so at 20%, right, I'm actually still hitting about 198 degrees Celsius. Right, it is dropping. Right, but I'm not too sure how low it will drop to. Right, I think for today's video, the purpose is actually to show how you actually connect your Artisan by Bluetooth to your M10 Sniper Pro, right? And I think I've achieved that. and I've also shown you the various settings, right, you need to do on your laptop when you switch on your Artisan, and to check your COM port and your baud rate, right. So all these you must make sure that is properly chosen, otherwise the Artisan will not read any data from your M10 roaster. Right, so apparently at 20% heating power, right, it is still gathering about 197 degrees Celsius. So I think I'm going to do further tests. I will not bore you with all this thing here for now, right? So thank you for watching, right? And again, this is CY, right? My channel is all about having fun making coffee, right? I hope you have fun, even though it's a bit boring today, just showing various settings on the Artisan, and how it can be controlled with your laptop, and control all the variables on your M10 Sniper Pro, right? So at 20% heating power, I'm still hitting about 197 degrees Celsius, right? So definitely I have to figure this out before I actually start roasting, right? Otherwise you'll be very fuzzy, and I do not know what temperature actually am I hitting. I don't even know at the moment, right? At 20% heating power, I'm still getting 197. So I'll probably try it out by increasing the heating power by small increment in percentage, rather than what I've done previously, increase all the way to 50%. And I think it's a bit hard for the roaster to lose heat, right? Because it's quite well insulated inside. So once you achieve a very high temperature, I think it's quite hard for the temperature to come down. So what I should do is I should maybe increase at 5% interval, and then record the highest temperature achievable at 5%, maybe at 10%, 15%, 20%, and so on and so forth, so that I can properly know the charge temperature I want to set it to be, right? So now you can see it's dropping at to about 194 degrees, right? Okay, anyway, right, that's what I aim to do in the next session, right? I hope this doesn't bore you too much, and I hope you have learned with me to gain some new insights on the connection between the Artisan with your M10 Sniper Pro, right? So thank you for watching, and have a great night. Do remember to subscribe to my channels, and like my videos, and share to your friends who has the same roaster, right? Or is trying to use automatic roasting by connecting your roaster to Artisan software, right? Do share with us any video, any useful video that's going to help us learn in our automated roasting journey, right? Once again, good evening, and thank you for watching, and see you very soon.